Hello YouTube, Captain Mac here, and welcome back to the life of a virtual cargo pilot. Today we're going to be making a flight from Frankfurt, right? Yeah, Frankfurt, Maine, EDDF, over to EGLL, or Heathrow Airport, in our new Millennium Cargo livery. You guys tell me what you think of this. I did this paint myself, so you know it's okay if you don't like it. Just kind of don't be a jerk about it, right? You don't have to be like, oh, it's the worst thing I've ever seen, I think I'm gonna go hang myself now. Because, like, really, why would you do that? That's just ridiculous. Like, you're gonna hang yourself because you don't like my paint job? That's just stupid. No, seriously though, you know, I'm all for constructive criticism. I don't have a problem with that. Just don't be a jerk about it, please. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this paint scheme, and if you want it, it should probably, by the time you see this video, it should already be uploaded in the download section of the website, so it should be available to you. Go ahead and download it. Quick note, this yeah, by the way, I probably should mention this. This is the iFly 747 for P3D. This paint scheme, however, comma, and pause for effect, should work in any version of P3D and in FSX. Okay? So, just throwing that out there. Should work in any version of P3D and or in FSX. So, go to the download section of Mac Air, pick it up if you like it, throw it in there. The install instructions should be there with it. It's very simple and all that. And if you have any issues with it in anything other than P3D, well, even in P3D version 4, feel free to let me know down in the comments or send me an email. Just make sure you tell me which version of simulator you're using. And if you have any suggestions for maybe a way you think this paint scheme might look a little better, I mean, this is amazing. Look at how awesome that is. So, last note on the paint scheme, and then I'll shut up about it because I'm sure you don't want to hear about it anymore. I don't know how to get rid of the windows on iFly's friggin' aircraft, because this is a cargo aircraft. I don't know how to get rid of the windows. The windows were not there when I did the paint. They were not. Okay, so for those of you who are like, oh, you just turn them off in your paint shop or your Photoshop or whatever it is. No, they were off. But when you create the files and whatnot, blah, 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 whatever, the windows show up later. I don't know. And I can't find the one that I can't, like, just delete that particular layer because I just can't. I can't find it. I can't figure out which one is just the windows. Anyway, enough about that. There's your paint. So I was going to pick up the EDDF scenery. I think Aerosoft does a beautiful looking airport. Yeah, no money right now. And the reason I don't have any money is because if you look in the background, it's all foggy. Yeah, I picked up Active Sky for P3D version 4 so that we have proper weather now. And I want to just throw quick kudos out there to Hi-Fi for two reasons. Reason number one, I paid a substantially lower price for my Active Sky for P3D because I own it for FSX. And so Hi-Fi, being an awesome company instead of a bunch of greedy bastards, they say, hey, you've already bought one of our products. We're not going to charge you full price for this new product. Instead, you get a substantially discounted rate just for being a good customer. And I really appreciate that. Not only do they have a good product, but they actually give a crap about their customers, unlike some people, I won't mention any names, who have decided that they're just going to charge the crap out of everybody for everything. Okay, there's my rant. Enough is enough about that. So kudos to them for that. And in addition, kudos to them because I have Active Sky 2016 for FSX with Active Sky Cloud Art, right? So I bought Active Sky 4, I think is what it's called, for P3D version 4, and I did not buy Active Sky Cloud Art. Well, my Active Sky Cloud Art for FSX works with my Active Sky 4 for P3D version 4, and I didn't have to do anything. It just automatically worked. So, wow, pretty awesome right there. Totally love it. Okay, enough talk about that. Like I said, we're going from Frankfurt over to London. I'm going to do things a little bit different today. We haven't been in the 747 in a while, but what I've gone ahead and done is I've already put ground power on the aircraft, and I've already gone through several items on our checklist. Now, I don't remember. I don't think I've actually done a tutorial on this yet. If I haven't, then maybe I need to do a full flight tutorial soon. But in the interim, just so that we go down the list really quick to get this thing fired up to the condition it's in, and we'll jump inside here now. To get it to this condition right here, okay, and this is just power on the aircraft with ground power. Now you can put ground power on using these guys down here, or you can put ground power on using your little menu option up here, which is if you're in cold and dark, then go to which one? Ground support up here through your add-ons. to put ground power on the aircraft, right? So, and then you turn ground power on, and this is not, you know, again, I think I need to do a full flight tutorial on this, and then we're good to go. So anyway, so batteries on, standby power goes to auto, bus tie switches are on auto, generator control switches on, hydraulic demand pump switches 1 through 3 are off. Hydraulic demand pump switch 4, this is all on the overhead by the way, is in the aux position. We're down here already. Engine hydraulic pump selectors, the 4 switches below all need to be on. External power switch 1 and 2 both need to be on, and those are back up here. So external power 1 and 2, which are they off all of a sudden? Okay, that's seriously random. So my battery's still on. I had external power on the aircraft, and now it's off. That's ridiculous. Come on. Connect. Why would it disconnect? I had a ground source connected too. Why would you disconnect? Turn them back on. That's just stupid. I hate stuff like that. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Turn the packs on. So I don't know why, because we're on a passenger cargo flight anyway. So anyway, all of that was done. And then your electric engine control switches, normal and save. That's these 4 up here. You don't do anything with those anyway. Utility power switch, left and right utilities both on. Those are good. And then your nav logo and wing lights. And then that takes us to the IRS alignment. So all of that I did prior to starting this video, right? And then it was on. I have no idea why it turned off. Like absolutely no idea why it turned off, but it did. So anyway, here we are. We're at this point. We got power on the aircraft. We're going to go ahead and we're going to align the IRS at this point. I just said at this point twice in a row. Well, 3 times now. So they're already off. So we go to nav, which is 2 right clicks, right? And then go to align. And this is kind of silly because it tells you at this point, you know, on your checklist and stuff like that, that you got to go down to the ident page on the FMC and all that. But if you go down there, and I'll show you even. So if we come down here, I don't know why it's only using this FMC, but it is. So I go to my ident page and then, you know, make sure your AirX cycle's right and all that, and then we go to position initialization. There's no boxes, right? But as soon as I flip these back to nav, the boxes will show up. And so just for the record, it absolutely can align itself in the nav position, or in fact, the way I hear it is that's how they often do it. So, and then there's no GPS on this one. It's just FMC. I'm not saying it doesn't have GPS in the system. It's just not showing one right now. So there we go. All right, so that's for the alignment of the IRS. So we're good to go there, and then that's going to take us back up here. The fuel pumps are supposed to be off, and for whatever reason, the cold and dark panel state does not include the fuel pumps being off. So you can just go in there and turn them off. If they're not, no problem. The crossfeed for the fuel needs to be on all 4 switches, and I'm not really sure why this is. Those 2 need to be on, because we're going to end up turning them off because we're not going to need the crossfeed because we don't have that much fuel. So the nacelle anti-ice needs to be off. That's these guys right down here. Wing anti-ice needs to be off. That's this one down here, right? So that's nacelle and then wing, I guess. And then window heat needs to be enabled. These 2 right here. We're going to go on that. Yaw dampers on. Jump back up over here. Both of those come on. APU switch. It says to start the APU at this point, but I don't really see the point in starting the APU right now because we still got quite a bit of work to do. So why would I want to start the APU, right? However, after starting the APU and turning the APU generators on, we need to remember to come back and these passenger and flight deck temperatures are already on auto, so those will be good to go. But the trim arrow need to come on, upper, lower recirc fans, gas will need to come on, pack switches 1, 2, 3 will go to normal, all of that good stuff. Okay, so we're going to come back to this section right here after we turn the APU on. But I want to go ahead and program the FMC first because that just makes more sense to me, and that's going to take a minute, right? So I'm going to pop this guy up so it's maybe a little bit easier to see. It kind of looks a little squatted down there, right? Like they kind of messed up on the... Yeah, that looks a little better. Anyway, let's go to our route page here. And then... Oh, you know what? I don't even think I might have saved the company route. Yeah, let's find out. Let's go... it would be EG or EDDF, right? EDDF to EGLL. And you know it's going to be 01. Put that in there. Ooh, it worked. Activate. And execute. We'll just make our flight number 2336. Even though this is a Mac Air flight, We have already started ACARs over here, by the way, in case you're wondering. But I'm just throwing 23336 in there just because I want to get moving on this, and our flight numbers are really long right now. So move to the performance initialization page, and then left click one time. We got our 0 fuel weight there. Now we can pull all of these, right? We can put these numbers in. Okay, so what's supposed to happen? Here's your flight plan, right? And this is never going to be 100% accurate because, you know, even when you have a really good, like we have PFPX, and then when you have a really good profile, it's still not always going to be accurate. It's just the way it is, right? And then I had my configuration tool up, which is this guy right here, right? And so this has our cargo, and then even though it's a cargo aircraft, it's used in a passenger variant because for some reason, I guess they just don't want you to be able to make cargo aircraft with the iFly. I don't know. I'm going to give them crap about it. But you get your fuel in here, and then this gives you all your information, right? Your basic empty weight, 0 fuel weight. So 0 fuel weight is 521,142 on here, 521.1 on here. Gross weight 536.3, 536.271. They rounded up, you know, center of gravity 19.9%, and so on, right? And under here it's got 20% instead of 19.9. You can put all of this stuff in, okay? And then we can put our reserve fuel in. Like this is just straight up fuel. This is the fuel that's in the aircraft. But like on here we've got what's our reserve fuel. Final reserve 8,449. And I think I talked about this a while back. Like that doesn't even come close to the amount that is supposed to be there because of the what is it? I forget what it's called. It's like the residual fuel in the tank, though. When the tanks are considered empty, there's still like this massive amount of fuel in there. But either way, we can go with this one. So we'll just call it 8.5 on the reserves. Let me move this back over here so that I can see it. So 8.5 on the reserves, right? And then this has our cost index on it too. It was up top. I don't know if you saw it. It says 132, but I think this one's set up on a scale of 0 to 99. Let's try 132 and just see what it does. Yeah, it does. It let us put 132 in. Fantastic. And then our cruise altitude is flight level 400. And I want to talk about that just real quick because I know I'm going to forget. So see, this is already telling us we have insufficient fuel. Why? Why though? Like seriously, that makes 0 sense to me. Ugh, drives me nuts. It's at 7.3. I mean, it's saying insufficient, but it's not actually telling us how much fuel it thinks we're going to have. Oh, lordy. Anyway, I'm not going to mess with that right now. I'm not going to do it right now. Okay, so what I want to talk about was the cruise altitude. So on our weather, let me pull Active Sky up over here. I've got like 500 things running at once, right? It's crazy. So if you go into Active Sky and you go into, so this is just conditions at the airport, but if we go into the briefing, and there's a lot of information in here, and so typically you would do, like if you're doing a flight, this is what you do. You go through this. You say, okay, at EDDF, here's our you know, anticipated weather, and so on, and literally this just goes on and on and on and on. And you go through all this. Some of it you're just glancing. I mean, you're not reading everything in here. But anyway, the point I wanted to bring up is it tells us there's more favorable winds at flight level 420. Average headwinds are 15.5, right? So if we go up to flight level 420, we should get more favorable winds. Something to keep in mind as we bug out of here. I just wanted to bring that up because I knew I'd forget to talk about it later. Oh, man, I've got a lot of stuff open, don't I? Okay, moving on. So that's our performance initialization. Go to our thrust limit here, and we're going to be like super light and have tons of runway. So we're going to be using takeoff 1 and climb 1, and that should be just fine. And then it takes us to our takeoff page. Now, so your flaps, you got, what do you got, 1, 5, 10, right? We're going to do flaps 5. We shouldn't need more than that. What do you mean invalid entry? How is flaps 5? And you can't take off with flaps 5? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me? That makes 0 sense. Let's see what it does with 10. And let me do flaps 10. So I'm not going to do my V speeds yet because the departure is probably going to change that. And we were originally scheduled for 1 departure. I switched it to the Tobec 8N departure, and the reason is because of the winds. The winds mean we need to take runway 25. It's actually 25 center, but it's probably going to show up as 25 right on here for now. And that's because our scenery is way out of date. TOBAC 8N. Is there 8N on here? There we go. TOBA 8N. Bam. And then 2.5. Oh, it does show. Well, it shows 2.5 center in the database, right? But there's actually, so there's 2.5 left, right, and center. That would make sense. That's why there's a center. But the default scenery doesn't have 2.5 right on it. So you'd have to get the add-on for that. But anyway, okay, there we go. See, it's telling us insufficient fuel again, right? Why is it saying insufficient fuel? I don't know. We'll look at it here again in a minute. Okay, so old gig is where we were supposed to come off of our original departure, but our original departure also had us on taking runway 18, which we can't take now because of the wind. So we had to change that up. Stop telling me insufficient fuel. I'm looking. See, it's still not even telling me what my estimated fuel is at EGLL. So how do I know? How do I know it's insufficient? How do I know you're not just making it up? How do I know? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to do the easy fix on that for the moment. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it because it's not. So we got the reserves at 8.5. I'm just going to put the reserves at 2.0 just to get it to stop giving me that ridiculous insufficient fuel friggin' because it's driving me nuts. Okay. Back to the takeoff page. Now, okay, we've got our V speeds here, 116, 128, 148, and then center of gravity, again, you can click on this. Remember, it's at 20%, so we could just do that, or we could just click on it and bam, there we go, trim 20%. Trim at 4.7. Let's trim it up real quick. It's already pretty close to 4.7, and because we don't have engines running, it just bounces back and forth. I forget about that anyway. Our IRS is aligned, which is good. What else? I think that's it, right? Yeah, I think we've got it all set up at this point. So we do need to take a peek up here, and again, we're not on the APU. We're running on brain doesn't want to work. Big surprise there. We're running on ground power right now, so we're going to need to start the APU here shortly. But in the meantime, IFUS, we want that on map. That's already on map. I don't even know why it tells you to do that. Ground control, we don't need to set frequency. We don't need to get IFR clearance. We're not using ATC. We do need to take care of the squawk code real quick. We're going to set that at 2336 also. And then let's test that as well. Well, I should have set it and then tested it, right? Auto brake will go to RTO, take care of that right now. Okay, so it's passed. We can put that to TARA, okay. And I think that it comes later in a different checklist, part of the checklist as well, but that's fine. I'm just going to put it there right now. Okay. Transponder set. Altimeter is set. I just used the Bravo key as the shortcut. That's the easy way to do it, but it is 29082, and that's what I had on my weather anyway, so we're good on that. Flight directors come on. I'm going to go through some of this and then I'm going to come back and look at the list because some of this is just a lot easier to just go through and do it, right? So altitude, do we have any altitude restraints? I'm just looking at the departure right now. I see a minimum altitude of 5,000, but I don't see any altitude constraints as in you cannot go above this altitude. So with that in mind, let's well, you can hold down the right mouse button and this thing just scrolls away instead of spinning the mouse wheel, which it just takes forever. So hold it down and let's get her up to 40,000. There we go, we're at 40,000 there. This guy's in a good position, that's where we want it. What is this at? 2.5. Zoom that out just a little bit, that's where I want that. You can center it if you want, we don't need to do that on this one. What else? So this is when we go to the checklist, right? I'm not sure what to do, so let's go back to the checklist. LNAV and VNAV are armed. We need to put V2 into here. What did we say V2 was? 148. Scroll that down to 148. 148. I'm having a hard time finding 148, aren't I? Arm the auto throttle there. That's good. First altitude set, so for us it's just going to be all the way to cruise altitude. Hopefully not climbing at 6,000 feet per minute like it likes to do lately. Autopilot disengage bar is already up. Fuel control switches are in the cutoff position as it gets down below. Trim setting just says check the same as FMC, but we can't actually do that because we don't have power on the air, or we don't have hydraulics going right now. We do have power on the aircraft. Auto brake is to RTO. TCAS test and then put it on standby and then to TARA. So yeah, it goes to TARA right now. No smoking. Seatbelt signs both on. Flight deck door is locked. Traffic button on the IFUS. We're not going to have any traffic, so it doesn't really matter because I don't have any AI traffic turned on right now. Fuel button, press and check fuel. So I think last time I did this, I was like, where's the fuel button? I'm retarded. It's this one right here, and then you're checking fuel in this guy right here. So, and this is also for your crossfeed, right? So if tank 2 is greater than tank 1, then crossfeed 1 needs to be on, right? So this is tank 2, this is tank 1, they're even, right? So it's not greater than tank 1, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to want you to have the crossfeed on. So, yeah, if they're equal, it wants it on as well. What else? That takes care of crossfeed. So that's going to actually take us up to our engine start and pushback checklist. But before we can do that, of course, we have to have our APU running, right? So start the APU, come back down here, and then if you just click on status here, is it status? Yeah, you can get it from status, and then I think another one shows it as well, right? Does the engine page show it? Nope, it's just the status page. Okay, so click on the status page, or by the way, if you didn't notice, these all pop up at the bottom here, so I can change these from this view as well. But anyway, on the status, it shows you the exhaust gas temperature, N1, N2, all that stuff for the APU, right? So once this is all good to go, oh, I don't want that one. There we go. So we'll let that spin up real quick. Once that's spun up, we still have a few checklist items that are related to the APU, right? Remember, we bypassed those because we didn't start the APU. So with the APU almost fully up and running, and when it's full and ready to go, both of the APU gen switches will give you the opportunity to turn them on. And then we'll take care of those checklist items that are related to the APU, and then we'll disconnect the ground power and the ground air, and then we'll pause there so that I can make sure I didn't miss anything, you know, and then we'll pick up after that. So there we go. So it tells us that they're available now. That's what that says. I know you can't see it. I can't even see it. I just know it says available because I've zoomed way in on the switch. So we'll switch the APU Gen 1 and 2. That automatically turns off the external power switches, which is good. And then going back on our checklist items, so APU Gen switches 1 and 2 on, passenger and flight deck temp auto, we've already done that. So trim air, upper lower recirc, and gasper on. And somebody threw down in the comments, and I'll try to remember to grab it and throw it in here, what the gasper is actually for. And it's more than just, it's a whole system thing. So, and they got the information from a friend of theirs who flies 777, so that's pretty cool. So trim air, upper lower recirc, gasper on, pack switches 1, 2, 3, all the normal, which we've already taken care of. Isolation left and right both open, that's these two here. APU bleed needs to go on, and then those are all the checklist items that were related to starting the APU. So we can jump back down here real quick. Not really, you know what, I bet you what it is. It just needs to be bright. And I was like, why are we not able to use this FMC over here? Well, that's why right there. Okay, so go to the simulator here, page 2, ground support, ground power, disconnect, don't need it anymore, return, and then ground air source, it's connected, disconnected, don't need it anymore. And we're going to go there, there, and then legs page there for now. And that takes care of everything up to and starting the APU, and everything else on the checklist. Let me just double check. Because, like, I'm actually surprised. So it tells us, so we turned off all those fuel pumps, right? And so I'm looking on my checklist here for the engine startup and pushback, and it doesn't say to turn on the fuel pumps. So I must have missed it. Oh, I did. There it is right there. Bam. Right under the traffic button thing. Right before we talked about the TCAS, we were supposed to turn on the fuel pumps. I just happened to notice they were off while we were up here looking, right? So fuel pumps on. There we go. Those are all on. And then down here, if our crossfeed is set up wrong, then let me cancel everything out. It's not going to give it to us right now, or maybe it's not set up wrong. But these are our recall warnings, right? So I was just looking to see if it gave us the little crossfeed warning, but right now it doesn't really tell us. So, alright, that's it. Well, that's not it. That's it for the moment. I'm going to jump away here. I'm going to pause the video for just a second, then we're going to come back and we're going to do our push and start. Alrighty, that turned out to be a much longer break than you would realize. So what's been like a half a second for you has just been like the last hour for me, chasing kids around the house, making them clean up messes, because my children are all pigs. They're disgusting. And they just don't care about anything but themselves. So yeah, even our altimeter has changed. We've had plenty of time for that to take place. It's been quite a while here. Anyway, we're we're basically ready for our push and start. So let's take care of a couple of items here real quick that get us actually set up to push back. So the gangway's taken care of, doors are taken care of, and we could double check the doors here in a second. We would of course request pushback, all that good stuff. We want the beacon light to come on here. Let's see. All three of these go to auto. That one stays on auxiliary. Packs 2 and 3 need to go into the off position. Engine bleed air switches need to come on here. And I'm talking a little quieter, trying not to get that peaking that we get with my microphone sometimes. So you guys let me know. Hopefully the sound's not being drowned out by the engines or anything like that. I listened to it briefly and it sounded alright, but you never know how that goes. And then open the engines page on the iCUS, which should already be done, but we'll double check. No, it's not. So let's go over here to engines page. That's what we want. And then that actually puts us ready for this, for the actual pushback. And I don't remember, let's go to this one here. I don't recall if there's a pushback feature with this one here. There is. Okay. So let's see here. Let me take a look at my taxi chart. I believe we're going the nose to the right. Now this has been messing up with this aircraft and with others. So turn nose to the right, 90 degrees. Straight length we're gonna make like 20 feet, because otherwise it runs out of space. Like, how's that invalid? Do I have to put FT? Let's put FT in there. Let's see if that does it. Where's the T? There it is. 20 feet. Nope, that doesn't work either. That's probably too short. 35 maybe? 35. Let's go. Let's see if it'll let me do 30. 30, 25. I'm trying to go as short as I can. It lets me do 25, but it won't let me do 20. Okay, so we're going to do 25 feet because this thing actually really pushes way back. And then I don't remember if there's any announcements with this, so let's see. Start now. Oh, it did the park and brake for me automatically. That was nice of you. Okay, and then just looking over here, so yep, it has started over here, so we're gonna go on that. Fantastic. Down you go there, and we're pushing. So the start procedure on this is actually really easy. It's gonna be an auto start, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up here, we're gonna turn continuous ignition on, auto start to the on position, and then we're gonna jump back down here. And I believe we put all those on, right? Fuel control 1 through 4 run. Yep, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are all in the run position. And then we're ready to start engines 1 and 4, right? So all you do is left click these, engine 1, engine 4, and that's it. It's auto start, right? So it's going to do it for us. See, it's turning it wrong again. Did I not pick nose to the right? Turn nose says turn nose gear. Really? Turn nose gear to the right. Come on, guys. Okay. Listen, if you're with iFly and you're watching this, that was ridiculous. That's stupid. That's stupid. That's stupid. Which way do I want to turn the nose of the aircraft? Not the nose gear, the nose of the aircraft. Come on, guys. That's just ridiculous. And here's the deal. Is it turning the nose gear to the right, or is it turning the... Come on now. Come on. That's just annoying to me. It's not that big a deal because I just flip a U-turn. But really? Really, guys? That's the best you could come up with. Come on. Okay, I'm annoyed by that. I really am, because I'm pointing the wrong way now. I gotta burn more fuel to go the other way. Because what? Am I turning the nose to the right or the nose gear? So if I turn the nose gear to the right, that turns the nose to the left. So let's make sure we take the time to figure that out every time. And I know what you're saying. Oh, really? It's not that hard there, Captain Mac. No, it's not. Except that when I looked at it, I saw turn nose. Right? Because that's what every other program in the flight sim world does. Which way do you want to turn the nose or tail? One or the other. Which way are you turning the nose or tail? Right? But no, not iFly's pushback program. No, sir. Whatever. It's annoying, it's stupid, but it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. I'll shut up about it now. Or maybe I won't. Engines 2 and 3 start. It's just stupid. That's all. I find it stupid, okay? Alright, I'm done venting about it. I'm actually more annoyed right now at my children than I am at the stupid pushback thing, because my kids are freaking driving me nuts. Okay. Breathe. Right? Did it pause or something? Boy, it got really quiet. Why did it get so quiet? I've got 2 engines running. Why'd the sound go out? I just hit the Q button again. The sound was out. Oh, I must have hit the Q button when I hit the number 1. Okay. Dude. Okay, that's almost done starting up. Once she's done starting up, we're going to go ahead and hit off the APU, turn off the APU bleed, packs will all go to normal, hydraulic pump switch 4 will go to auto, engine and wing anti-ice will stay as they are. We'll check for warnings and we'll take care of taxi lights, flaps, and that'll complete our pushback, right? Maybe? Okay, I think we're good. Yep, switches have turned off, so this guy can go to auto, APU can go off. We don't need any engine or wing anti-ice. This guy can go on. Strobe doesn't need to go on yet. We don't need logo lights. Really? Anybody else remember me turning the beacon on? Yeah, it changed itself. I don't like that. I don't like things that move themselves. Okay. Did I miss anything over here? Taxi lights. Oh, flaps. We need to get flaps in position. So that should be what? Right there, flaps 10 is what we chose, correct? It wouldn't let us do 5 for some reason. And that completes the pushback, and that's going to take us into our taxi checklist. And of course, we're going to taxi out and take care of our taxi and departure briefing on the way out. And we got plenty of taxi time, even more since we have to flip a U-turn now. Okay. I won't say anything else, maybe. And that's pretty much the gist of it. So, track hour coming on a little jump here. Okay, big jump, I lied. Kind of like I lied about not talking about, you know, yeah. Okay, let's flip a UE here. Hold on. Why is this here? You can't see it. Alright, bring that in one up a little bit. Maybe. Maybe. We're not that heavy, so it should be moving already. Okay, maybe we're going to need a little more than that. I mean, we're moving, just not very fast, right? Alright. Here we go. Moving, moving, we're moving. Taxi light's on, right? Did I turn taxi light on? I did, I turned taxi light on. Fantastic. Thought maybe I forgot about that. Okay. Let me go ahead and flip this bed Larry around here, and as we're doing that, I think we've got enough room for a U-turn here. These will turn pretty tight, actually. It's quite impressive. Although, I don't think it'll turn that tight. I don't know. I think I'm going to miss the grass, but just barely. Yeah, like, because the nose wheel is behind us, right? So I think we are missing the grass, but just barely. Okay, enough talk, at least as far as this end goes. Let's go ahead and take care of your departure, or your taxi and departure briefings. Are basically right here, and of course the sim pushed us back with the nose pointing the wrong direction. Very frustrating. Yeah, I ranted a little bit about it. You know, it's my fault. It is what it is. You know, I guess I should have paid more attention to what it actually said. So hopefully next time it won't get messed up. But anyway, so we're gonna flip her around. We're gonna come back out here to Lima, but I think it's actually Alpha on the airport. So, and again, we don't have unupdated scenery, so it is what it is. But we're gonna taxi out here and take her all the way down to the end, and we're gonna use this hold short point right here, not Lima 1 but Lima 3 or Alpha 3 if that's what it turns out to be, and we'll hold short of runway 25 right. I know it says 25 center on here. It's going to say 25 right in the sim because this runway does not exist in the default scenery. So thinking about maybe getting an EDDF scenery at some point because I love this airport and I want to fly in and out of here quite a bit more, especially for our cargo flights. But we'll see how they go. So in the meantime, this is going to be runway 25 right. Now let's take a look at this departure briefing. So as previously mentioned, we switched it over to the towback 8N departure, and this is for runways 25 left and center. For us, it's like I said a minute ago, it's actually runway 25 right in this case, but it still applies. It's for the runway that we're using. Maximum speed 250 knots below 10,000, or as instructed by ATC, not applicable within Class C airspace. So basically, as we depart out of here, maximum of 220 knots until established on the 183-degree track. So basically, as we climb out here, and it's going to give us some info down here, we're going to make a left-hand turn to 183 degrees, and then we're going to take the 222-degree radial outbound until we get 14 nautical miles from the Frankfurt VOR, right? So it's listed as, or it's written out down here. It says climb on runway track to distance 4.5 FFM, that's Frankfurt VOR, and distance 1.5 FRD, which is, where's it at? Where's FRD? Here it is. So there's two VORs right there. That's kind of crazy. I didn't even know that about Frankfurt. Fred VOR is right here. So 1.5 from that one, or 800 feet, whichever is later. Then turn left to the 183-degree track, intercept the 222-degree radial from the Frankfurt VOR to 14 nautical miles from Frankfurt VOR. Turn right, intercept the RID 301-degree radial to 16 nautical miles from RID. Then turn right, and so I think you guys are getting the point here. So basically, left-hand turn here. Intercept this, once we get to 14 nautical miles, we'll start our right turn to intercept the 301-degree radial from the I guess that's the Reed VOR, until we get 16 miles from that, and then we'll take a right turn to 022 degrees, out here to Tabum, and then out here to Tesca. And there is an initial climb clearance of 5,000 feet. So I didn't notice that when I initially set the altitude. I was just glancing at this, but there's an initial climb clearance of 5,000 feet, so we need to make sure that we set that. And then once we get out here to towback, since we're not using ATC, we can go ahead and consider ourselves cleared to climb on up to cruise altitude. Let's see, the Langham radar is on 120.150, airport elevation at 364 feet. And last thing we want to cover here, contact Langham radar when advised by the tower. SIDS are also noise abatement procedures. Strict adherence within the limits of aircraft performance is mandatory. So this includes the noise abatement procedures are built right into this. So there you have it. That's your departure briefing, and off we go then. Alright, we're holding short of the runway. Two things that I messed up on here. One, I failed to do a proper before taxi checklist, which includes doing the flight controls check. So let's take care of that real quick. Hit the status button over here. We'll pop this up so you can see it. Here's our flight controls. Let me just get my seat set up properly here. Oh, should probably do that before. It's been another long break in between pauses here. But anyway, let's go full left. I've noticed anytime I watch videos where they do actual aircraft procedures, like real world stuff, in a real world aircraft, they do these control checks rather slow. Not really sure why that is. That was interesting that that went down and then up, but anyway. So not sure why they do them so slow. Maybe just to not put a lot of pressure on the controls. I don't know. If somebody knows why they do those flight control checks relatively slow, please let me know. But anyway, so that takes care of our flight control checks. And then the other thing I messed up on, I missed the note there on the departure procedure that says the initial climb clearance is to 5,000 feet, right? So I've gone ahead and reset the MCP altitude to 5,000 feet so that we don't exceed that, which means we're ready for our departure here. Let's jump up here real quick. The runway's actually over there. We have to make a right turn, but of course the hold short line is right there. You can just see it right there. So that's why we're pointed this way. I accidentally clicked on that, didn't I? Okay, so let's get the landing lights on. Bam, runway turn off lights on. Taxi lights can come off. Strobe light can go on. Anything else? Nope, just says position and hold on. Well, it's not position and hold anymore, by the way. It's line up and wait. It's been that way for a few years now. And then that takes us to our actual ready to take off setting. So here we go. Track hour coming on, little jump. Big jump. Did I put the parking brake on? I did. Parking brake off. Bring those throttles up. And as soon as she starts to move forward, of course, we have to turn to the right. Come on. I guess it is pretty heavy. I didn't think it was that heavy, but it's pretty heavy. Alright. So It's going to be like 10 minutes until we get on the runway at this rate. So you guys may remember, I don't know if I think I mentioned it, I made a text comment on the last Cargo Pilot video I did. I said that the elevator music is going to be different, and it is. So because the recording and playback feature for P3D does not, it does all kinds of weird stuff. Like, it really does weird stuff. I'm not even recording this flight with the analysis tool now. It's not the same as FS Recorder, which is what I use when I fly in FSX. So unfortunately, that limits our options as far as elevator music and stuff like that. Doesn't mean we're not going to have it. I have a solution that will work for the elevator music, but it will not work for landing. And basically all that is, I'm going to use the cinematic mode for oh, there goes the brain not functioning again. Cinematic mode for chase plane. There's a stupid reverse thrust that likes to randomly kick in. Right. Cinematic mode for chase plane, and I will just once I'm done bumping my gums, we'll flip on the cinematic mode, and then I'll make a cinematic out of that, and we should be good to go as far as the elevator music. But it's not going to do anything as far as our landing music goes, because when we're landing, I'm going to be landing, but I'll have it on autopilot when we're climbing out. So you won't get the actual takeoff. You'll just get the climb out from the point where I break away and say it's time for elevator music. So I hope everybody understands that. Hopefully somebody will come out with something like FS Recorder for P3D version 4 that will allow us to do much more in the future. Let's go ahead and run the throttles up a little bit here. Get it around 50%. And if I remember, the toga button wasn't working in this one. Let's find out. Nope, toga's working. Alright, here we go. Thrust set. 80 knots. V4.1. And rotate. Positive rate of climb gear coming up. Fly for very long on this one. Gear up. What the heck? What is that? Fuel quantity low. Are you kidding me? What the heck? Let's turn the autopilot on and let's investigate why we have a fuel quantity low warning all of a sudden. Track iron coming off. What is that? What? Are we leaking fuel? We're at 7. Oh my goodness. Look at that. 7.6, 7.5. We're leaking fuel. We literally have a fuel leak. Okay. Well, we're going to 5,000 feet. Looks like we're returning to the airport, folks. Departure arrivals. Let's go back to ILS 25 center and execute that. Wow. Yeah, it's not going to be insufficient fuel here in a minute, though. Let's find our ILS 25 center is red go here. Execute that. We don't actually need to go to Logan. We're not going to. Execute that. What's it doing here? Oh, that's why. Okay. So we want to go direct to red go. I know there's a direct to function, right? But okay, we'll just put it here. That's fine. Execute. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And it says we have insufficient fuel for that as well, which is interesting. The speed's set at 165. Coming back down. Wow, that's crazy. And I haven't really studied emergency procedures on this aircraft. Big surprise there, right? So let's pull up approach charts. Runway 25 center, ILS. I'm pulling it up on the other side over here. If I get time, I'll put it in as a briefing, but I wouldn't count on it. We need to be down to 4,000 feet. So let's bring this down to 4,000. Oh, 4,000 I said. Coming down. Bring in one more setting of flaps here. Yeah, we're leaking fuel. I have no idea how we're leaking fuel, but you can see the fuel is draining out pretty quick. We're down to 6.6 thousand pounds. I have no idea why we would be leaking fuel. Let's pull up our fuel page here. Yeah, look at that. I mean, there's no way we burn that much fuel, right? And now, just to make sure, whoops, leave that on. I didn't leave the APU running, did I? No, I turned the APU off, and even that wouldn't burn that much fuel. So I have no idea why. Okay, I'm going to do heading select here. And I'm doing that so that we can run parallel to the runway for the moment. Let's bring that flap setting back up. And let's bring our speed up just a little bit, because we're right on our minimum maneuvering speed. I don't like that. And I don't know why it's trying to climb. It's supposed to stay at 4,000 feet. It just doesn't like what we're doing right now. Yeah, we're down to 6.4 on the fuel. Technically, we're beyond our usable fuel at this point, I believe, right? We're into the unusable fuel, I believe. But nonetheless, the engines are still running. Let's go ahead and turn landing gear off for the moment. All the ignition switches stay on. Let's go ahead and arm the spoilers. That was seriously unexpected. Let's double check our nav radio. ILS 111.55, that is the correct frequency. Let's choose, we're not going to have to worry about our landing speed because we lost all our fuel. So we're heavy, but we're not overweight by any means. So 140 knots. And I'm just going to keep you guys here with me. So this is totally unexpected. I think I'm just going to make an episode out of this because that's pretty crazy, right? So I won't be filing. Actually, yeah. Let's go in here. Let's do this real quick. Let's divert. We've got a minute to do it. So let's select airport. So EDDF is where we were. Let's try that again. Oh, it's not. I'm not liking the way that's set up. It'd be nice if you could. Oh, there we go. EDDF. No, there we go. EDDF, divert. Okay, so it paused the sim for me, so that's fine. So what I just did there is I chose EDDF and I'm diverting there, and that is actually going to allow us to file the PIREP on this. We're diverting to EDDF. Now, I had put a different comment in here, but I'm not worried about this comment because it's a non-issue. So it paused it for me, so I'm going to take advantage of that real quick, and in the comments I'm going to put fuel leak emergency return to departure airport. And that way when they look at the PIREP and they look at the diversion, they say, well, why'd you divert? They can look at the comment down there and they can see that we returned to the departure airport due to a fuel leak. So, and that's crazy. Like, look, we're already down to 6,000. See? We're already down to 6,000 pounds. We're actually going to be cutting it a little closer. Okay, let's unpause. I'm just keeping a little bit of space here for the moment. Where is our runway? It's a little bit behind us already. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I just want to try and get out here until I'm parallel with FF25C, right? And then I'll start a turn, and that should line us up. I mean, we're going to be cutting close on the fuel. We're down to 5. We're going to have to start making this turn now. We're not going to be able to fly the ILS. I'm certain of it. But, yeah, so red go is where we're supposed to intercept at 4,000 feet. This is that's absolutely crazy. I'm wondering if I hit something that's causing the fuel to leak out. I honestly don't know. I don't think I did. Final approach course, 248 degrees. Yeah, see, we're really close there. Let's go ahead and bring our, let's come down to, I'm going to try and intercept, just for the sake of simplicity, but we're probably going to have to hand fly this in, which isn't really that big of a deal. You probably wouldn't fly the ILS anyway. Come on, descend. Down, not up. Doesn't even want to go down. Okay, vertical speed. There we go. And let's just hit the localizer switch. We'll see if it grabs it. We're gonna need to go down further. And a little faster. Okay, track iron coming on, little jump here. We're down to 5.3 on the fuel. Continue the descent for the moment. I think 2,000 will be good. Okay, let's see if it intercepts the localizer here. I'm hoping it does. If not, we're going to be fighting to get in line with the runway. I know this is probably not the best way. We're way too high. I'm going to take the autopilot off. Right. Autopilot's off. We're hand flying. There we go. Trying to silence that thing. Okay, how we looking? We're still too high. Let her keep coming down. Let's go ahead and get some speed brakes out. Auto throttle's still on. We're slow enough to get the landing gear out. Next setting of flaps. Yeah, I know. That's just the caution telling me that the spoilers are deployed. Because we're way too high.
Gear down.
Gears down. We're still definitely too high. That's my fault, obviously. Let's bring that speed down. 140. 145, actually.
1,000.
Start a little bit steep on the approach, but not too bad. Okay, let's turn the auto throttles off.
Approaching 2-5 right.
We're at full flaps now. Arm the speed brakes. We're a little high, but not too bad. And I'm not going to force it to nose over. We're already descending at 1,000 feet per minute. So we're going to land long.
300.
Guess we'll do a replay and see if we can get a video out of that. A little cinematic.
200.
We're doing all right. We're a little high, not too bad.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Little float. I don't know what our landing rate was. 190. Whew. Okay, slow her down. Oh, I should have put auto brakes on, right?
4,000 feet remaining.
We're just gonna take her right back down here. Wow, that was interesting to say the least, wasn't it? Go ahead and get those flaps up. That was pretty crazy. How are we looking on fuel? 4.5. Well, we certainly wouldn't have had enough fuel for the flight, would we? Well, that's something else, huh, guys? That's, wow. I think that's the first time we've ever actually had a no-kidding emergency in flight. And in this case, it was right after takeoff. We got the notice that the fuel was low. I'm gonna have to look into that. I don't know if I hit something or if it's a failure built in that happens occasionally or what. I have no idea. Now, what I do know is that the usable fuel, I don't remember what the usable or unusable fuel amount is in this aircraft. I know I've mentioned it before, but I don't remember what it is. I am quite certain we are substantially below that. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world, right? Okay, so we should have enough fuel to get over here to parking. So let me get those landing lights off. Taxi lights on, runway turn off lights off, strobe light can come off as well. Okay, I'm going to taxi it in over here. I'll pause the video for you guys for just a second. I'm going to taxi it in, and then I'll come back when we get to a parking space. We'll get her shut down, and then I'll probably pause again and see, and I'll look into the cause of our, hold on, I'm trying to think and talk here. That doesn't work very well for me. I'll look into the cause of our fuel issue, see if it was a leak or if it's something I did or what, and then I'll probably come back on. We'll talk about that real quick, just so that we can, you know, be certain of what happened there. If it's something I did, you know, there's default keys for dump fuel. Maybe I hit them when I rushed to hit a different key or something. So either way, I'll try and figure out what that is, and then talk about it. If I don't figure it out, then we'll just probably end the video. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, we'll pause here for a minute. Let me get the aircraft in. We got just enough fuel to probably do that, and then the engines will probably die as we park. So back in a minute. All right, we got our parked here. Let me jump all the way back here. I wasn't able to do any of my checklists or anything as far as approach or anything like that, because we just that was like, we need to take care of this issue right now. So it was an immediate return to the airport there. But we're in our parking position. Parking brake is set now. There we go. So we're good on that. Let's turn the APU on for a moment. It's probably not going to last very long, but let's get that fired up, and then let's go ahead and let's bring over ground power real quick. We probably won't even need the APU, but let's get the ground power out there. So ground power, connect. We'll worry about the air in a minute, and this way we can hook it up to ground power 1 and 2, and then shut down the engines since there's no fuel left anyway. Cut off. Okay, and then I'll let the APU finish spinning up, just so that I don't, you know, cause any issues with it. You know, I don't want to immediately shut it back down, so let it finish spinning up. In fact, it might already be done. No, it's not. Once it's done spinning up, we'll turn it off. What else we got here? APU bleed on, engine bleeds off. Go up here, engine bleeds off. Packs 2 and 3 can go off for the moment. Oh, let's see here. All 3 of those can go off. This one can go to auxiliary. Fuel pumps can come off. I'm trying to do this from memory here. Trim air, upper, lower recirc, gaspers all off. Yaw dampers off. All 4 of these off. All 4 of these off. All 4 of these off. APU is spun up now, but we're not going to use the generator, so we're going to turn that off. Left and right utilities off. Beacon lights can go off. There we go. Nav and wing lights can stay on for the moment. And what does that take us to? Ground power is already connected. Yaw dampers are taken care of. Hydraulic demand switch is off. I'm going down the checklist now. Continuous ignition needs to go off. Auto start can go off as well. We won't be restarting. IRS system 1, 2, 3 off. Right? Yep. 1, 2. Oh, that's the line. Turn those off. Left and right utilities are already off. Fuel pumps are all off. Cross feeds need to go off. I'm definitely curious what happened here. Window heat off. Half cargo heat off. We never turned it on, did we? I don't think we did. Trim air off, gasper off, upper and lower recirc fans off, packs 1 through 3 all off. Left and right isolation switches both off. Generator control switches off. We already did that. TCAS can go to the standby mode. That's down here. Right in front of my face. I was trying to figure out where it was. There we go. TCAS to standby. And then to go to cold and dark, we turn ground power off, external lights, all of that. I'm not going to turn the power off of the aircraft completely yet. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause here, and then I'm going to see if I can figure out what happened as far as the fuel leak is concerned. Actually, before we do that real quick, let's stop our flight. Let's file our PIREP, and that should get approved. Because we did the diversion. I almost forgot about that. So it's good that we did the diversion, so we should get credit for the flight, even though it's not a very long flight. It was very short, in fact. We should get some credit for it, and then, of course, we'll be departing from here again when we're done. So I'm going to pause the video now, and I'm going to break away and see if I can figure out what caused the fuel leak. And then if I can, I'll come back, and we'll talk about it, and then we'll wrap it up. Well, alrighty then, folks. As you saw, I was able to get some shots for a cinematic, which is okay. It's the best we can hope for with the way P3D's analysis tool works, especially with complex add-on aircraft. Like with PMDG, it won't even run the engines, just won't do it, so I can't even bother with PMDG. But I might be able to do flight recordings with this one and at least get something. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. The downside is like there's no fast forward function, so if you have like a 10-hour flight, the most you can do is increase the rate to like 8 times while you're doing the playback, and I don't know, maybe I need to look into it a little more, see how it works. But anyway, so when the playback was all done, this is where it left us sitting kind of cockeyed at an angle here, which is not how we parked, of course, but it is what it is. So that being said, I did a little looking into it. So there is a key combination that allows you to dump fuel, but it's Control, Shift, and D all together. There's no way I hit all 3 of those buttons at the same time. So I definitely didn't hit that to control fuel, to dump fuel. And then if you hop up top here, you can see here's your fuel jettison, right? So you would have fuel to remain, and then off and A and B, and then your nozzles here, right? So, and I don't really know how it works because I haven't looked in the manual, but I didn't do anything to this. You guys saw what I was doing. I didn't click anything up here. I didn't do any fuel jettison at all. So I'm not really sure what happened here. In fact, I'm absolutely not sure what happened here. I'm quite confused by the whole thing. As a matter of fact, I don't have a clue. Somehow we ended up dumping fuel. And it's, I mean, you can see we ended up with 3,000 pounds left on landing. So we started engines with 15,000 pounds of fuel. That's what we had when we started the engines, and now we're down to 3.1. So yeah, that's rather interesting. This thing's not working right now, apparently. Let's see if it'll pull up fuel. Nah, it won't pull nothing up. Okay, so I don't know why it did it. I'm gonna have to do a test flight or two to see what happened. Now I've flown the iFly 747 in P3D version 4, a different livery, and didn't have any problems. In fact, I did a 10.5-hour flight. I didn't record it. It was just a test flight and just throwing some hours up in the open division. I did a 10.5-hour flight from somewhere to Australia. I don't remember where I departed from, to be honest with you. But either way, it doesn't matter. The point is I did a 10.5-hour flight and I didn't have any problems, certainly not with my fuel. 10.5-hour flight's a long flight, other than the fact that I was fighting a headwind the whole way because the weather never changed because I didn't have my active sky in there, so it burned more fuel than expected, but I never ran out of fuel. You saw the fuel was going down quick. So for us to go from startup, taxi, takeoff, immediate return to the airport, land, and taxi back in, and it wasn't even a long taxi because we were originally on this end of the runway anyway, so we just came straight off the runway straight over here, and we've got 3,000 pounds left. That means we burned 12,000 pounds of fuel in that short amount of time. That's obviously not realistic. I did not look at the config file for the aircraft, but it shouldn't matter because it defaults to the primary aircraft config file. So unless somehow it got messed up for all the airplanes since I put this paint scheme on, then it wouldn't be anything in the config file either. So I really have no idea what caused the fuel leak. So I'm going to have to do a test flight in this. I'll probably do that as soon as I'm done with my wrap up here. And we'll see if it does it again. And if it does, I don't know. I'll do a test flight in another aircraft from iFly, another 747 from iFly, and see if it does it in that one. So, all of that being said, that's going to wrap it up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. A very short flight for us this time. We did things a little different from the start anyway. I had my little talkie talk while we're sitting on the end of the runway. We certainly didn't burn 12,000 pounds of fuel sitting at the end of the runway while I talked about sponsorships. But either way, it is what it is. I may even edit out that portion about sponsorships. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, in fact, I'm just going to edit it out. So let me tell you what I was talking about there, and I'll edit it out on the end of the runway because it was only like 2 minutes, so there's no way it burned 12,000 pounds of fuel. But you can do, YouTube has a new thing where you can sponsor a channel. I think the minimum sponsoring is $5 a month or something like that, US. So if you're interested in sponsoring my channel, let me tell you what I want to do with it. When I get to a certain number of sponsors, I think what I've decided is if I get 20 sponsors a month, so it's like a monthly thing, so you would do it every month, and you can stop it at any time, and I'll tell you how to do it here in a second. But if I get 20 sponsors a month, then twice a year I'm going to do a giveaway of some sort. And if I get 40 sponsors a month, then I'm going to do a giveaway every quarter, so every 3 months. And then if I get 100 sponsors a month, I'm going to do, and this is all at the minimum sponsorship level, then I'm going to do a giveaway every month. So it'll either be a scenery, an aircraft for one of your, for your simulator, maybe a simulator, maybe you're an FSX guy, want to go to P3D version 4 but don't have the funds, maybe we'll give away a P3D one day, and then hardware as well, so yoke, throttles, rudder pedals, things like that. So those are the kind of things I'd like to give away, and so I'd like to do it already, but I don't have the funds to purchase that stuff even twice a year to give away, but I'd like to be able to do something like that. So what I'd like to do is if I start getting sponsors, and again, I'll tell you how here in a second, then I'd like to be able to give back to you guys as well, more than just making the videos. So I really enjoy making the videos, and obviously that would be your primary reason for sponsoring, would be, because I make videos and you enjoy them, okay? But I'd like to be able to give something more back than just the videos that I make if I receive enough sponsors. So the way it works is right at the top of all my video descriptions, now all my latest video descriptions, it says right there, if you'd like to sponsor my channel or something like that, click on this link. And if you click that link, it takes you to YouTube's gaming side. So YouTube has regular YouTube, and then you've got YouTube Gaming. And it takes you to my channel on YouTube's gaming side. It's all the exact same content, but a different layout, so it looks different, but all the same videos are there and stuff like that. But right there up top, you'll see a button that says sponsor, and if you click on that, then it shows you the minimum amount, and you set it up and whatever, okay? And then I get a little thing that shows me how many sponsors I have and who they are and so on. Okay, and the way it works is you get like a special little icon for the comments that shows that you're a sponsor and stuff like that, so that's kind of cool. And then, like I said, if I get 20 sponsors per month at the minimum amount, we'll start doing a semi-annual giveaway. Okay, and now that giveaway is only amongst the sponsors, so if you're not on that list of sponsors, you can't participate. And I want to take it even a step further to be fair about it. You can't jump on the list of sponsors, a few days before I do the selection for the giveaway, and then say, oh yeah, I won, look at me, and then stop sponsoring. That's kind of messed up. So what I'll actually do is a minimum of 60 days prior to the giveaway, I'm going to go in and take a list of everybody that's in there as a sponsor, and then I'm going to check that list again right before the giveaway, and as long as your name was on the list the first time and it's on the list the second time, then you're eligible for whatever that giveaway is. I think that's a pretty good way to go. You guys let me know what you think about it and whatnot. And, you know, if nobody's interested in sponsoring, then that's fine too. It's not a big deal. I do appreciate all the support I get from you guys. I've bumped my gums long enough. I've actually managed to make this video long just from talking. But if you're interested in sponsoring, go over there and do that. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and smash the subscribe button. We're up over almost 5,100 subscribers. I hope to get an opportunity to make a cinematic video just as a way of saying thank you to all of you for your support. You guys have been fantastic. I love all my subscribers. You guys are great. I really enjoy it. Don't forget you can like us on Facebook, and you can follow us on Twitter, and of course you can follow us on Twitch at CaptainMac3588. Somebody asked if I'm going to do live streams again. Yes, I am, once the opportunity arrives. For those of you who don't know, I'm working 2 jobs, 6 days a week, so it can be difficult to get videos out, but I'm still trying to get them out for you guys, even though I've only got 1 day a week to work on them. So I hope that I can alleviate that pretty soon and then start getting back to making more videos and so on. But that is enough from me. We will be doing our next cargo flight from EDDF to EGLL, since we didn't make it there this time. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, keep the blue side up unless otherwise instructed by ATC, and don't forget to check your fuel quantities. Make sure you're not leaking fuel. God bless you all. Have a fantastic day.